Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Looking at the NBA here on Thursday. Got 9 games on the slate for us to go over. I've got a few looks already on the card, and then I'm going to go through exactly what I'm going to be looking at tomorrow because we do have a ton of teams that are going to be on the back-to-back here on Thursday. So we're going to have to wait for some injury reports and some news. That's why we've got the live show every day, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. But for now, let's get into what I'm looking at here for Thursday, as well as a quick review of how we did on Wednesday. If that all sounds good, give this video a like. Let's get right into it. 5 and 6 on the night, minus 1.3 units. Take the bad with the good. We had made 10.5 units over the course of about 3 days. So we're still feeling good here. 44.7 units up on the season. Just got win number 300 as well. Don't care about the wins or the record. Just care about the money that we're making. So we're, like I said, 44.7 units still up. The bets that we hit there, feel good about all of those. Happy to talk about those more on the live show tomorrow. But more importantly, Nick Smith Jr. just didn't come back in the midst of a blowout. And then they brought back in Mark Williams and LaMelo Ball. And part of this bet here for Nick Smith Jr. was predicated on the fact that there was going to be a blowout and Memphis was blowing them out. And that then Nick Smith Jr. would lead the charge for the offense in garbage time. Well, then for some reason, Charles Lee brought in LaMelo Ball and Mark Williams in garbage time and left Nick Smith Jr. on the bench until there was roughly 2.5 minutes left in the game. So we got completely screwed over there. I'm going to be honest. Ryan Dunn missed layups tonight, missed everything. I don't know if it's because I picked him, but honestly, not that impressive of an offensive game. I thought as well that Phoenix would just completely pile it on Brooklyn and that Ryan Dunn would be leading the charge for the second unit as one of the guys that they were going to look to get involved in the action and have him score down the stretch when they were already winning by double digits, 20, 30 points. Well, that wasn't really the case. In fact, they weren't even winning at parts of the game in the third quarter. So Phoenix ended up having to, play their starters more minutes than I thought they would until the very, very end. And then Ryan Dunn came out. So we lost that one. Donovan Mitchell disappeared. He had 19 points going into the fourth quarter. We needed 5 points for him. And he disappeared, 6 points rather. But either way, he just disappeared. I have no explanation for it. I'm not going to look into it further than that. In crunch time, he just gave up. To be fair, Amin Thompson took him out of the game. I mean, Amin Thompson was an incredible defender tonight. It is every night, and that's a big reason for Donnie Mitchell. So there is something that can be considered here. As good as primary ball handlers are scoring against the Houston Rockets, guys like Donovan Mitchell, when you have Amin Thompson out there for 40 minutes a night like they're playing him these days, it's going to be tough for the primary scorer to get theirs when Amin Thompson is shutting him down. But Isaiah Collier finally let us down for the first time in forever. We ain't even mad at him. But he did not get the 13.5 PRA. He ended with, I believe, 11 on the night. Didn't have a very good shooting night either. But he did get the usage and the volume that we expected for the minutes. So we'll take it. Guys miss shots. That's what happens. And then Jaylen Brown, I should have stayed away from that doo-doo game. I mean, everybody for the Clippers sat. It was just a very last-minute bet because Jaylen Brown does get a ton of rebounds normally when Kristaps and Al Horford are not playing. Tonight wasn't the night for him, even in overtime. So we'll regroup here, but still feeling really good about that. Like I said, 44.7 units on the season. And do want to let you know, we're going to be getting a lot of these bets on the live show. We're doing that every day, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. You guys bring your bets. We go over those together as I share my screen and show you exactly how we're getting the value that we can out of these plays. So hopefully I'll see you guys there at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday to wrap up anything that we're not able to get here on Wednesday night, looking at that slate. But let's get right into what we've got here for Thursday. As we look at this slate, kicking it off here with the Pacers and the Spurs in Paris, by the way, we'll remind you, if you do want to get in on the action with this Props Madness, that's the platform that we are using here to get everything that we can out of and find the best value here in the NBA and in the WNBA when the ladies come back. But definitely recommend at least trying this tool out. You can get a 7-day free trial using propsmadness.com to see if you like it. And then you can also use promo code LYB. That will get you 25% off your first month of this top tier program. This is the best one around. That's why I'm partners with them at this point, right? Because this is the one that I'm using for myself. But for this game here, 11 a.m. on the West Coast, it's going to be a 2 p.m. start on the East Coast because this game is going to be in Paris to go ahead and spread the global game. And rather than go to Victor Wembanyama playing on his home soil, I am looking instead actually at the play that I have on my card right now is Miles Turner. I think you can still play him at 14.5. Minus 110 is as high as I'd go here, or as low as I'd go for the odds, I should say, for the over. But you can still get 13.5 minus 125 on Bet365. And that's where I took him for the points. A couple of things here. I mean, just off bat, like this is below his points prop for the season with a little bit of room to spare. We're at 15.4 points per game for Miles, and this at 13.5 still only needs the 14 to get there. So that's at least a starting point for us. If you open up FanDuel Fantasy Pros, this is going to show you team defense versus position. So you can see how well defenses defend a specific position on the floor. So if we look at centers, as good as Victor Wembanyama is of a player and as a defender, they are giving up the second most points per game to centers. Granted, Nikola Jokic put it on them because he's always going to look to score on Victor Wembanyama. And there have been a few other centers. I mean, these guys are definitely gearing up to score on Wemby. But why would that be any different from Miles Turner, who's also had some really good games so far against Vic Wembanyama? You look at last season for him here on back on Props Madness. If we go back to 23-24 and we select head-to-head, obviously some really good games there, 15 and 16 points. One of those was in just 21 minutes as they won by 41 against the Spurs. I don't think that's going to happen here, but other game, he played the 30. They lost by 12. He had 17 shots. And that's a big part of this for me, is that Victor Wembanyama does not want to leave the paint. He wants to stand in the painted area and make sure that anybody who drives into the paint is going to meet him at the rim or for their floater shot. He's going to try to block everything. That's how you get 10 blocks in a game like he has had, right? So I do think we're going to see Miles Turner have some open threes, some above the break stuff that's going to be available to him. And if you look at this shot chart for him in 24-25, you can see the Spurs are 29th limiting above the break threes. Miles Turner is taking 38% of his shots from above the break on the three-pointer. And then the other 28% of his shots are coming in the restricted area, where they are 25th in terms of limiting points for the Spurs, right next to the basket. So this is a really good matchup for the center. So I'm going to take Turner on the points. I actually don't mind the rebounds as well. If you look at those for him, it's at 6.5, but it's juiced to -140. And that's really where I lose the edge. I'm actually going to wait to see here what happens on Thursday morning. Normally, I hand out the VIP picks starting. I'll revisit this stuff in the morning. And if there's some pretty good odds for Miles Turner at 6.5 boards, then I'm going to hit that over as well and give that one out into the VIP Discord. One other look for this game, and I need to wait on it because I need Jeremy Sochan to play. But right now you can see Jeremy Sochan here is going to be questionable to go. So we need to see what his definitive tag is tomorrow. But what's really interesting to me is the rebounds for Harrison Barnes, right? First of all, these are at 4.5 and -140 to the under. I'm looking to fade this for sure for HB. Not a very good rebounder. But if you put Jeremy Sochan in there, even worse. So already on the season, if you just look at Harrison Barnes and put him at the 4.5 rebound number, in 41 games, he's gone over 12 times. So let's just start there. That's a 29% hit rate. -140 indicates, yeah, it's very, very, very likely that he's going under. Then the other thing here is if you add Jeremy Sochan to the game and say, Jeremy, what's Harrison Barnes done in the games where Jeremy Sochan has been available? Even better, 9% hit rate to the over here. 2 out of 22 games that he's played with Jeremy Sochan available, he's gotten 5 rebounds. This is an automatic under for me. Honestly, I should just hit this now, to be honest. Even if Jeremy Sochan doesn't play, we just lost so much juice here, man. -160 is what I'd have to bet for him to go under. Or you can take the -140 on DraftKings. I think I'm still willing to bet minus 1.4 units to win back a full unit that Harrison Barnes goes under on his rebounds. Quick reminder, too, if anybody wants to jump into the VIP Discord, you can get a free month by going ahead and signing up for one of the books that are listed in the description of the video. And they're also scrolling right underneath me here. You can see if you don't have an account with any of them, sign up using code LYB, and then go ahead and send me a screenshot, either on Twitter or Discord using @JLBoogie. That's my name there. And you can go ahead and get a free month. Give me that screenshot showing me that you did sign up using that code, get all your free money and your bonus bets, and then I'll go ahead and get you that free month as well. But getting back into things here, the Blazers and the Magic, it is tough to go ahead and bet on this game just yet. You can see a familiar face that we have not seen in a while is going to be maybe available. We still have a questionable tag on Franz Wagner, so not sure if he's going to be a go. Even if he is a go, he's still listed as going to be limited here because he's got to get his conditioning back, right? I believe he's listed as reconditioning of some sort on the actual NBA injury report. So we need to see if Franz is going to play. We've also got questionable tags on Cole Anthony, as well as a couple other guys, Jonathan Isaac, Gary Harris. We've also got Jet Howard. All these guys are looking at questionable tags, and Goga is going to be doubtful, most likely not playing in this one. Probably another look back at Wendell Carter Jr. But same can be said for the Portland Trailblazers. They got DeAndre Ayton, Jumani Kamara, and Anthony Simons, all questionable in this one. So there's no way to get a bet down yet. There's nothing to be able to gauge here with playing time, with minutes, with who's going to take the most shots or anything. We need to know who's going to be out there. But I'll tell you right now, I'm looking at Paolo on the points and rebounds, and he's probably going to be a bet for me. If there is no Franz and there is no Jonathan Isaac, Wendell Carter once again will be a bet because of sheer volume alone. He played 30 minutes in their 16-point loss to the Raptors. I bet he'd be very willing to bet that he'd be up there for about 34 minutes again in this Blazers game. So we'll be looking at both those guys, but going to have to get back to this game on the live show tomorrow at 5:30 since we don't have anything close to an updated injury report. So moving on to Raptors at the Hawks in Atlanta here, and Atlanta will be on the second leg of a back-to-back, and that is kind of important because we don't have their injury report either, so we don't know if any of these guys are going to be a go yet or who's going to be a go. I imagine most of these guys will be okay, but you never know. It's the NBA in January. But for the Raptors here, going back to Scotty Barnes, we took his assists at 5.5 here on Wednesday. Probably have to take this at 6.5 if we want it again. But man, like, I'm totally fine taking the primary ball handler assists against this really, really awful Atlanta Hawks team. If you look at them, you can hover over there on the game chart here. You can hover over the upcoming match against Atlanta and see all their stats here on defense and the relative stuff against Toronto. Against Toronto. They are third worst, I should say, in terms of giving up assists. So we took Cade, got the 10 that we needed for him in the game on Wednesday night against Detroit. Scotty had hit for his assists. I'd be willing to bet this at 6.5, about even money. So if we're getting plus money for over 6.5 assists, that's my other favorite bet of the night so far with the information that we have, is Scotty to just do his thing. And one thing that I do want to show you here, I've shown you guys this a couple times, but this is the Raptors with Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett, and Scotty Barnes on the court. This is fantasylabs.com, linked in the description of the video as well. All the tools that you see me using are linked in the description of the video so you can access them yourselves. This is all free, not behind a paywall of any kind. And what it's showing me is how do Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes perform when they're on the floor together with no Emmanuel Quickley on the floor, since we know he's going to be out of this game. And this is per 36 minutes. You can see that these three have played 282 minutes together without Emmanuel Quickley. And in those 282 minutes, Scotty Barnes is at about 9 assists per 36 minutes. And you know he's going to be playing at least about 35 or so. He played 34 in this last game, 35, 36, 38. 38. So expect 35 plus minutes for Scotty Barnes, which means he should be good for about 8 or 9 assists once again against a very bad team limiting assists. So we're going right back to the well, over 6.5 dimes for plus money for Scotty Barnes. All right, we are going to have to use the live show on Thursday to go over a lot of this stuff, as like I said, ton of teams on a back-to-back, so we're going to have to wait for some of the injury reports and the news about the rotations and the lineups that we're going to be getting coming out of shoot-around tomorrow. So 5:30 p.m. Eastern is when we go live, so that we do start to have a lot more info, and there's live info coming while we're on the show, so we're using that to make the best value plays that we can and continue to score to rise up here in these units, getting above 45 again, and then getting past 50 so we can keep climbing on our way to 100, which is the goal for the regular season. So we're going to keep going here, just a bit off trajectory. Need to pick it up just a little bit here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be right back on track. So hope to see you guys in the live show. And like I said, if you do want to jump in the VIP, got a couple ways for you to get in there for free. So make sure you check that out. Until I see y'all next, happy betting.